What's up, guys? Jackie Gat here, and basically, a few years ago, I took a couple of my really good friends, Sir Dr. Shiny and Rogue Dragon, through Bloodborne, and they had a very, I'm just gonna say, interesting time with it. I'd like to take them through Dark Souls, however, instead of just keep buying them Dark Souls and then just being like, oh yeah, don't touch it until I get on, I'd like to leave them a video guide with step-by-step instructions on essentially how to get through the game to the point that anybody can get through it. And this guide could be used by anybody else that wants to use it, or it could just be used by them, or it could be used by nobody. Don't know. I'm not going to get my hopes up, but I'm going to make the guide either way, so that way even a complete and utter noob can get through Dark Souls. So this is going to be my guide for a noob's entry to Dark Souls. Just as a frame of reference, I haven't played Dark Souls in a couple months to make sure that I'm nice and rusty. That wasn't an intentional thing, but it's one of those things that'll make it really easier because it means I'm going to struggle because I'm going to be relearning the timings and controls myself, but I already have the strategies in my head for best ways to approach certain bosses and enemies and where certain items are that help out. So, with all that being said, let's go ahead and get started with a new game. Okay, now we're at the character creation screen. So, first thing we're going to do is put in a name. I know for a fact I'm about to make this a female character, so we're going to go ahead and give her the name Quelaan, which is after the community name for the fair lady from Dark Souls 1. So it's a cool reference to me. You may not understand it. Gender and age don't matter. For class, again, it doesn't make a huge difference, but we're going to take the Pyromancer for noob's sake, because the first boss is weak to fire, and being a Pyromancer wielding fireballs makes them a lot easier. Then we're also going to take the black fire bombs. The starting gift doesn't really matter, but again, black fire bombs, you throw bombs, they explode in fire. First boss is weak to fire. We're just trying to cheese the first boss, essentially. So that's why we're taking the classes that we want. After you've figured out the first boss, or if you want to be a little more legit and try out different builds or different characters, you're more than welcome to. But if you are really struggling to buy that first guy, just take the Pyromancer. He's a really easy way to cheese the first boss. If you want to be a sorcerer with real many magic, go for it. Assassin, go for it. You can also take the Pyromancer to start out with, just to get to the first boss, and then use your skill points to level up the other areas to go out for those trees anyways. Like personally, I'm more of a melee fighter myself, and I know it, so I'm going to need like strength and dexterity, whereas the Pyromancer starts off with a bunch of intelligence and faith. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay. But yeah, we're going to start with Pyromancer to choose the first boss, and then we're going to be going a strength build character, because for a new player, a strength build is the easiest thing to maintain and wield, because a lot of early game weapons are strength based, and a lot of easy to find weapons are strength based. So we're going to be doing a strength build after this. But yeah, so we're starting off with Pyromancer for the fireballs, and we're starting off with black fire bombs for, again, just damage, just trying to get the boss as quickly and easily as possible. Face doesn't really matter. I changed it to Northern Warrior because I don't like how pale she is as a commoner. You can pick whatever you want. Build doesn't matter. You can be fat, thin, it doesn't matter at all. Go with standard. I actually already have a favorite saved specifically for this character. If you're curious, the hair color I use is 110 red, 0 green, and 220 blue. It's the same shade of purple I've used since Fallout 3 days, so it's just what I go with. And that's going to be our character starting off. And here we go. Alright, y'all. So I'm just going to preface this by giving a couple of disclaimers. I'm going to cut out my deaths. I've already had a couple since initially starting the area, and you'll see why shortly. I'm also going to be cutting out all cutscenes because there's no reason for you to watch them in the game and watch them here. That's just repetitive. But the main thing I'm going to be focusing on is tactics when approaching enemies. How I approach each new enemy. If I've seen a type of enemy before, I don't think I'm going to explain it again. I might throw in little tidbits about it or whatnot, but I'm going to basically just try and preface this by just giving the controls essentially and the mechanics essentially of how to fight each enemy. With that being said, the default for most enemies is literally hold L1 to put up your shield, and then walk to either the left or the right. That's it. But anyways, this is how we start off. So you got some notes on the ground. They're literally just your controls. They'll tell you how to play the game. And then your first enemy is right down here. Again, like I said, I default automatically just holding up the shield and walking to a side. And in this case, I just happen to get a backstab as a result. But even if you don't get a backstab, they're still only one-shotting for this area. We'll take out this guy on the right. Then we're going to go straight across, take out a guy on the left. Again, coming straight at him, holding up the shield, walking to the left. Oh, I hit the wall, so now I'm holding up my shield and walking to the right instead. Got him. Alright, this guy's got a bow or crossbow. Hold up my shield, walking to one side. Oh, I didn't get my shield up in time, but that's okay. He's still dead. We'll heal up. Alright, so now the reason that I've died a bunch of times, I've basically just covered the basics. When you don't know how an enemy's going to approach you, hold up your shield, walk to a side. That's pretty much the default for how you should play this game in total. Dark Souls is a very defensive-based game. We're going to go and fight the Crystal Lizard. This is an enemy that is completely optional. You don't get to fight him out of the gates. And you will run into him later on in the game. When you run into him later on in the game, you're more leveled up. He's a pretty easy and straightforward character. However, unfortunately, at this level, just starting out, he's pretty tough. You can see that little green orb out there floating. That's my souls from the last 2 times that I've died. With that being said, I'm going to pause right here, talking, and give myself a chance to cut if I die this time and bring in the cut of me actually killing the thing. So, okay, so attempt number 4. Basically, the Crystal Lizard has a number of moves. He can generate crystals with a couple of his moves, and those are the moves we really got to worry about. But he also has a number of variations on essentially just taking a slash at you with his claws or his face, and those moves are pretty easy to dodge. So we basically got to watch out for him to spawn crystals and do our best to take him on in the meantime. I'm going to run over and grab my souls real quick. Going to bite at us. Pretty straightforward to dodge, considering that once you dodge the initial bite, he just keeps going forward. That's a tail whip. I don't like the tail whip. Even though I blocked it, I still took a bunch of damage. It's not an easy dodge. When he goes sideways like that, he does a claw swipe, which is pretty... That one's one of the easiest to dodge, and it's also one of the most common moves he does. Okay, that was him generating crystals. That's one of those moves we gotta watch out for. He's gonna breathe on us, which generates crystals, and it's one of those attacks that's kind of hard to dodge. But that's kind of why I was spamming the dodge roll there. He's gonna spawn more crystals again. He's gonna snap at us. He's gonna swipe. Oh no. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay, so what happened there is he got too far into the wall and I lost my lock on. The only thing I could do at that point was to basically run away and get far enough to get him off the wall and try and get it back. He's gonna slam. He's gonna spawn crystals. When he does that slam, oh, the tail whip again. When he does that slam, the only thing you can really do is try and get to where his tail is, because that's the area where the crystals don't pop up. But if you can get like I just did, and get a good enough rally of consistent hits and not taking damage yourself, you'll eventually stagger him. And when you get the stagger, you go around to his face and tap R1, which is why I kept swinging on him, because I was trying to get it to activate. You'll do a big hit move. Now, mine happened to kill him. It won't necessarily do that for you. It might just do a quarter of his health, but it's a really nice way to do it. And then you get a Titanite scale, which we'll use to upgrade a weapon early on in the game. I personally don't think I'm going to with this character and whatnot, but we'll see. But for you, when you starting out, if you're struggling, leveling up your weapon so to do more damage per strike is a pretty quick and easy way to get going with your leveling process. Alright, now to run back. Alright, now the way we're supposed to go Oh, it's a pretty mountain range. And at the top is our very first bonfire. And now we're going to break for a moment here. Okay, so, make the long story short, I may have accidentally ran through this entire area, did the whole video guide, and then accidentally forgot to save it. So, yeah, I have slightly different souls, however, I still ran back, made a new character, grabbed the same items, grabbed the same character, perks, everything is exactly the same. The only thing that's different is I have slightly less souls because I beat the Crystal Lizard in like one less attempt this time, so that's all. Anyways, now that we've got our first bonfire, we're going to rest at it so we can get more Estus flasks and refill our health bar. We're going to get an emote for it, cool. And then we're going to go through this little section right here just to reach that door down there where the first boss is. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and rearrange our inventory just ever so slightly. We're going to go ahead and take these two off and just change it so it's the Estus flask first, the black firebomb first. So if you look in the left upper corner, you have the red bar, which is your health bar, and the blue bar, which is your FP or mana, and then the green bar is your stamina. Stamina is what you use to dodge and attack, you know, that's pretty straightforward. But when you switch, press left on the D-pad to put away your shield and pull out your Pyromancer's hand to throw fireballs with, this is where the mana is going to come in, because it costs mana to throw fireballs. This is going to be relevant until we reach the boss, but I'm just covering it really quickly while we're here. So you go into your equipment, and the Ashen Estus Flask is to refill mana. Now, you can change it once we get to the Firelink Shrine between how much of each you want to carry, but to start off with, you just get 3-in-1 ratio. So we're just going to switch those real quick, and then in a second here, I'm going to pick up some more fire bombs to add to our hotbar, and that'll be that. These guys are slightly tougher. They'll take 2 hits to down rather than just 1. The other thing worth noting is that because these guys do a little bit more damage too, as well as taking a little bit more health, I'm trying to avoid just straight up blocking like I was before, because this shield only blocks 50% of physical damage, and I'm trying to avoid taking needless damage. If you're starting off, I will show you the run back strat for this boss in case you need multiple attempts, but right now I'm trying to avoid it just so I don't have to. But I will show you that afterwards either way, so if you need to just block your way through it, it works out just as well. Coming down here, make sure you wait until after the archer shoots, because if you unblock and the same time that like the spearman has just finished his attack and the archer shoots you, it might stagger you long enough for the spearman to recover and stab you, and then the bullet just push you off the cliff. So basically you want to try and go down there with shield up and wait for them both to swing and then take out the spearman. Then we're going to come back up here, and jumping, it's hold circle to run, and then jumping is pressing down on the left stick, and it'll cause your character to jump. There's an item right there, but the only way to get it is to jump to it. So we're going to jump. And this will take you a couple times of practice, but yeah, essentially that's all there is to it. There's a guy right here underneath the cliff. If we lock on and then hit R1 while we're falling, we'll do a plunge attack, which lets us kill him as we're falling. Then we'll come over here, wipe out the archer, and that's the boss. Now real quick, I'm going to show you, even though I don't think I should need to hit it, but I'll do it anyways. So this path is how you'd run back up here to reattempt that item, but we're going to go back to the bonfire and heal real quick in case we took too much damage while doing this. We're going to rest. And then your run back path for multiple attempts on this boss in case he gets you. Just come down here, block the one attack from that guy, drop down. We're going to plunge attack this guy. And then we're just going to sidewalk so we don't have to block the arrow. We can just get in here real close. And then we're far enough away that we're not going to aggro that guy. And now we're going to go up to the boss. So when we get in here, I'm just going to explain my tactics real quick, so that way you can think about them while I'm doing them, because for me to explain them while I'm doing them, it requires me to talk really fast, but it also is an aspect of it's very difficult for me to concentrate and focus at that point. So what I'm essentially going to do is I'm going to hold up my shield, and I'm going to back away. What I'm going to essentially do is try and put myself enough distance between me and him that it causes him to launch himself at me. I don't know why, so I'm going to hold up my shield because I'm not going to have a shield. We're going to have our Pyromancer's hand out. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get far enough away that he does a lunge attack at me. His lunge attack, despite being very devastating, has a really big tail to it, and then it also has a really big window to it behind it. So we're going to basically get him to do a lunge attack, and when he slams down for the lunge attack, we're going to be dodging and then throwing a fireball. And the fireball will do 108 damage. If we hit him with the axe right now, it only does 49. So you'll see that right out of the gate. I'll hit him once just so you can see the 49 damage pop up on his health bar at the bottom. And then I'm going to back up and do exactly my tactic of just wait for him to do a lunge attack, dodge, throw a fireball. Dodge, throw a fireball. And every time I throw a fireball, it's 108 damage. And that's the key thing here. So this is where I say we bring the Pyromancer for the beginning, because if you are really struggling with this boss with another character, this is just the easiest way by far to just cheese this boss. So here we go. We got our fireballs ready. We got our axe ready. We're going to go pull a sword out of his chest. And then we're going to start this boss fight off. So pull the sword out. Yeah! Alright, we're going to wait for the health bar to appear. So I can hit him once. 49 damage. And then we're just going to dodge roll away. I'm going to lock on. That's the lunge attack. Fireball. Oh, I was a little slow. So he almost got me. But now we got a bunch of distance again. He's going to crouch down to do a lunge attack. And fireball. Alright, so I messed up. I had a death, or maybe a couple, but we're going to try this again. I don't exactly know when I'm going to cut it, but basically if you die, there's a fog wall. That's really the only difference, and now when we enter the arena, he's already going to be up and awake, instead of having a sword in his chest that you got to run up to and pull out. So, it's going to be the same strategy though, of just get in, try and keep him at about mid-range, so that way he does that lunging attack. Alright, so that one you gotta be careful because there's a follow-up to it. Fireball. I'm trying to get him to do the leaping attack, because the leaping attack is the one with all the recoil time in the world. The attack he keeps doing, there's a follow-up to it, but if he doesn't do the follow-up, then you can kind of be leaving yourself open. Versus this one, I missed the fireball, but it didn't matter. He still gave me a nice big opening to fucking throw him, which is the important part. If you really want your fireballs to hit, try not to move when you're throwing them, because that seems to be when mine miss the most. He's going to do another leaping attack. Fireball. Oh. Getting all stabby on me, huh? Fireball. Now he's going to transform. We're going to get in a free fireball while he's doing that, which I was trying to launch a second fireball, and I got greedy. Remember, Dark Souls punish greediness, so don't do what I did. Alright, so that attack, I had an opportunity there, but he usually does a follow-up with that one, which is why I didn't. See, there was the follow-up that I was expecting. But again, just fireball. Now we're going to get in, trying to get him to do that same attack again. This is a 3-stager, and fireball. And now he comes again. Watch for the follow-up, which I thought I was safe, so that was my own stupidity, and I'm about to die. Oh, no. Oh. I'm out of fireball juice. That's why I'm not. Okay. So we're going to heal. We're going to switch to our Estus Flask. Our Ashen Estus Flask, I should say. Watch now for the follow-up. And fireball. Fireball. Ta-da! And that was only a second attempt. Now, what, Jackie, let's say that you haven't quite mastered your aim for the fireball yet, and you're sitting there going, but Jackie, I burned through all my fireballs, what do I do? You still got 5 black firebombs, and then if you picked up the item that I showed you, then you also will still have another 5 firebombs. And those I meant to put on my hotbar beforehand, but I was pretty confident in my own ability, because I've done this before. In your case, if you get down that second stage, play it safe, be smart, don't be risky like I was. I showed you the tactic of just dodge, dodge, fireball. Dodge, dodge, fireball. Dodge, 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 fireball. And it's that same tactic of you get him that you stay far away, so he constantly keeps doing that same lunge attack, and that's the only attack you have to learn. You don't have to learn all his intricate little kicks and patterns and shit like that. All you gotta learn is just the distance to stay at and fireball. And voila, first Dark Souls boss, done. Now we're gonna grab our souls, light our bonfire, put our fireball away, and then we're gonna rest at our bonfire so we heal up. And that's the door out of here. And before we open it, I'm just gonna stop right here and end the episode here. This has been a lot of fun for me. It's great for me to think more strategically when approaching these enemies for once, because usually I'm very much just going and just do it off like memory and muscle memory and things like that, and just the muscle physics of it, and that I don't really think about it too much anymore. So it's a great chance for me to try and explain some of the things that we do and tactics that we've learned over the years. But yeah, it's all up to the viewers, those of you that watch this. I know a couple people that I'm going to send this to specifically to try and test this out for me and see if my explanations are clear. I'd love feedback on a better way and ways to improve this, if I should stop before I approach the enemies and explain then, so I do a more clear explanation, or if in the moment of actually seeing what I'm seeing when I'm saying it, of what to look for, is more helpful, or any sort of feedback at all. I'd be more than happy to hear at this point. But yeah, with that being said, always remember when you're exiting your Dark Souls game to go ahead and slide all over the over menu and hit quit game. But this is exactly the mistake I made last time, so I'm going to actually save the video here rather than hit quit game, so it doesn't lose the footage. With that being said, thank you for watching, and let me know what you think.